Welcome to Northwoods Pursuit, your gateway to real stories from the wild and beyond. Wildlife accidents lurk in every corner of the city, causing millions of dollars in damage each year. Be careful, drive slowly, and report wildlife sightings. But how are people coping with these incidents? And what is the best way to get home safely? Subscribe to our channel for more real-life stories, safety tips, and wildlife awareness updates. Stay informed, stay safe. At first glance, it looked like a horse, but it turned out to be a moose. Anyone else make that same mistake? The real story is this: a car collided with a horse on Highway 283 near Altus, Oklahoma. Sadly, the animal didn't survive. The driver, though shaken, walked away without serious injury, thanks to the life-saving choice of wearing a seatbelt. The crash occurred just south of Martha, Oklahoma. In a separate incident, a runaway horse turned a California highway into its own racetrack. The animal, named Bliss, reportedly slipped free during a training session and bolted onto the 101 freeway near Ensenada. For nearly 6 miles, it galloped through traffic before colliding with Mercedes-Benz. Amazingly, both Bliss and the driver are expected to recover. If a horse or any large animal suddenly bolts onto the road, your first move should be to call traffic police or animal control so they can close off the area and keep everyone safe. At the same time, slow down, but do it gradually to avoid losing control. Now here's something to think about. What's the safe speed when you're cruising down a dark Montana highway at 75 miles per hour and a moose steps into your lane? That exact scenario played out one icy night. In that case, the impact nearly shattered the passenger side windshield. My sister-in-law came to pick us up and spotted the massive animal lingering on the shoulder. At first glance, she thought it was a horse. Encounters like this aren't just a Russian problem. They happen right here in America, especially in regions where wildlife and icy roads make for a dangerous mix. If you ever encounter a moose on the road, should you simply leave it alone or call for help to protect the next unsuspecting driver? The safest choice is to alert authorities so they can handle the situation before it turns dangerous. Wildlife fences are another proven way to reduce these kind of incidents. On icy winter roads like 80, one driver learned the hard way when a moose collision was immediately followed by a deer strike, a frightening chain reaction in treacherous conditions. To protect yourself, slow down, keep your headlights on, and stay alert for wildlife crossing signs. Equip your vehicle with winter tires, maintain a safe following distance, and avoid sudden swerves on icy pavement. In places like Tyner and University Way in Minnesota, installing moose crossing warnings has cut deer vehicle crashes by as much as 30%, proof that a little prevention can go a long way in keeping both drivers and animals safe. Sometimes traffic grinds to a halt when well-intentioned drivers try to help a moose cross a busy road, but without proper caution, that kindness can turn dangerous. Moose are powerful, unpredictable, and can be aggressive when stressed. Often, the safest choice is to remain in your vehicle, pull over to the shoulder, and let professionals handle the situation. Smaller animals can be just as dangerous as the big ones. Take ducks, for example. A line of them waddling across a 95 in Maine might look harmless, but sudden stops or swerves to avoid them have caused serious accidents. Preventing these situations often means investing in solutions like wildlife tunnels and strictly enforcing livestock control laws. Wildlife hazards don't stop at the roadway. Ever seen a snake on a power line and glowing blue? No less? It might sound like a tall tale, but it's a real and costly problem. Snakes that climb power poles can trigger massive surges, knocking out electricity and costing businesses millions. The fix starts with choosing the right insulation for main lines so curious critters can't cause dangerous and expensive damage when they make contact. In Thailand, home to more than 5,700 monkeys, encounters with wildlife on power lines are almost inevitable. If a monkey is electrocuted and falls, never try to help by pouring water on it. That's extremely dangerous. The first step is to cut the power, then use an insulated tool to safely move the animal. Knowing the right way to respond to power line incidents can protect both human and animal lives. And it's not just monkeys. Even goats have been found tangled in power lines. Was it a bizarre prank, or did the animal somehow get there on its own? Share your theories in the comments. Whatever the case, if you see an animal in this situation, don't try to rescue it yourself. Always call trained professionals who have the right equipment and expertise to handle it safely. At Northwoods Pursuit, we believe that true outdoor knowledge isn't just about tracking game. It's about respecting nature, understanding wildlife behavior, and knowing how to stay safe when the unexpected happens. Whether it's a moose on the road, livestock on the highway, or a wild animal tangled in power lines, the right decision can save lives, yours and theirs. So stay alert, stay prepared, and keep learning with us. We got more real-world stories, safety tips, and hunting wisdom coming your way. Hit that subscribe button and join us for the next adventure in the wild. Hey everyone! Today we're exploring baboons, smart, adaptable animals thriving in South Africa's wild and farming areas. With around 350,000 of them across the country, they've learned to live alongside both nature and people. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more wildlife stories. Baboons in South Africa aren't spread evenly. Most live in the Western Cape, especially in places like the Cape Peninsula, Cape Winelands, and Overberg. These areas offer rich resources and sit close to human settlements, creating an ideal setup for the clever primates. In the Cape Peninsula, baboons have gained a bad reputation. They often raid farms, vineyards, and gardens, causing serious damage. Their behavior is shaped by habitat, food access, and human presence, so conflict levels vary from place to place. Baboons are no longer just wildlife. They're city slickers now. In parts of South Africa, these smart, bold animals are showing up in busy urban areas, dodging cars, raiding trash cans, and stirring up trouble for both city folks and nearby farmers. To deal with the growing chaos, farmers and wildlife officials are using humane traps, tough steel cages built to safely hold the baboons without hurting them. Each one is about 6 feet long, 3 feet wide, and 4 feet high, just big enough to keep the animal calm and secure with minimal stress. For many farmers, setting traps does more than protect crops. It brings peace of mind. With baboons threatening their livelihoods, traps offer control in a tough situation. But their growing use highlights a bigger need, smarter, more humane ways to manage wildlife. It's about balance, protecting farms while respecting nature. Baited traps work well because baboons love sweet fruits like bananas and apples. That makes them easy to lure. But when fast, humane action is needed, air rifles are often the better choice. Used responsibly, they reduce stress and suffering for the animals. Among the tools commonly used, high-powered air rifles stand out for their accuracy and reliability. These weapons offer a quieter, more controlled alternative to traditional firearms, making them ideal for managing wildlife near farms or residential areas. Most hunters rely on .22 caliber air rifles capable of firing rounds at speeds over 900 feet per second, more than enough stopping power to take down a baboon quickly and humanely when trapping isn't viable. One major advantage of using firearms in baboon management is the ability to keep a safe distance from potentially aggressive animals. Baboons can be unpredictable, and when they feel threatened, they're known to react with surprising force. Having the means to intervene from afar offers both safety and control, especially in high-risk situations. To avoid long-term consequences for both wildlife and local communities, responsible and sustainable management is key. That starts with proper education. Hunters should complete certified training programs that emphasize safety, ethics, and humane practices. And before setting foot in the field, it's critical that every hunter carries a valid, state-issued license and hunting tag. These measures help ensure that wildlife control efforts are done by the book and with respect for the animals involved. In the fight to protect crops and property, South African farmers have shown remarkable innovation. The traps they use to capture baboons are tough, spacious, and designed to safely restrain even the strongest individuals. Meanwhile, in situations where traps aren't feasible, carefully regulated firearm use offers a necessary alternative, as long as it's handled with responsibility, precision, and a deep respect for life. Balancing human needs with humane practices is what sustainable wildlife management is all about. So, what's your take on the two methods we've explored, trapping and the use of firearms? We'd love to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment below and let's start a conversation. Thanks for sticking with us all the way to the end. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned. We've got more great content coming your way soon. Welcome to Northwoods Pursuit, where urban wildlife gets real. Baboons are no longer just jungle dwellers. They're raiding homes, wrecking property, and spreading disease across U.S. cities. Florida alone saw a jump from 15 break-ins in 2011 to over 1,500 by 2014. It's time to fight back. We're bringing you real solutions, wild encounters, and the truth behind the chaos. Like what you see? Hit subscribe and join the pursuit. In Broward County alone, the baboon population once soared past 50,000, pushing authorities to take drastic action. When non-lethal methods failed, officials turned to firearms as a last resort solution. In response, the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, FWC, rolled out strict hunting regulations to keep things safe and controlled. A statewide license became mandatory. Hunting was limited to a January to March window, and every hunter is now required to report kills within 7 days after the season, or risk steep consequences, including a 5-year hunting ban. To make sure the job is done responsibly, mandatory firearms training is now part of the process. Hunters are trained to use advanced tactics and modern equipment with precision. Keeping a safe distance, typically between 100 and 150 feet, not only boosts accuracy, but also ensures safety in the field. One standout tool has been the M3 impact gun, valued for its speed and reliability in close to mid-range encounters. Thanks to these efforts, Florida has seen a dramatic drop in baboon numbers, from 50,000 down to just 10,000. These focused efforts aren't just about protecting homes. They're about safeguarding Florida's fragile ecosystems and keeping the state's agricultural economy alive. As invasive species like baboons continue to spread, hunters are stepping up with advanced tactics that are changing the game. From high-tech camouflage to carefully coordinated teams, today's wildlife control is smarter, safer, and more effective than ever. Teams of 3 or more work together to cover more ground while maintaining safety and precision. Fruit bait is placed in key spots to draw baboons into the open, giving hunters a clear, ethical shot. Thanks to cutting-edge gear like high-precision scopes with zoom and tilt features, even tough conditions don't stand in the way. It's this blend of strategy, teamwork, and tech that's making a real impact on the front lines of Florida's wildlife crisis. To keep both people and native wildlife safe, Florida has banned night hunting under strict regulations. This thoughtful approach strikes a balance between effective population control and long-term conservation. Once baboon numbers are brought under control, hunting operations are expected to wind down, giving the ecosystem a chance to heal naturally. The state is also taking steps to ensure baboons aren't left vulnerable to other invasive predators during the transition. Still, not everything is black and white. Questions about health risks and the cultural controversy surrounding the consumption of baboon meat continue to stir debate. What do you think? Where should we draw the line between control and compassion? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you're passionate about wildlife, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to follow the mission. At Northwoods Pursuit, we believe responsible hunting isn't just a tradition. It's a tool for protecting our communities, our ecosystems, and our future. Controlling invasive species like baboons requires more than just grit. It demands training, ethics, and a deep respect for the natural world. As we face these new wildlife challenges together, it's up to all of us to stay informed, stay prepared, and stay united. If you care about conservation, strategy, and the raw reality of wildlife management, stick around. There's more to come. Hit that subscribe button and join us on the front lines, where every decision matters and every pursuit has a purpose. This video is for educational and awareness purposes. All scenes follow local laws and ethical hunting guidelines. Welcome to the channel where we dig deep into the battle against invasive species, right here in the US and around the globe. Imagine this: farmers, scientists, and wildlife pros joining forces, using smart technology and targeted strategies to defend our land. These aren't just backyard pests, we're talking about species that cause billions in agricultural damage every year. In 2022 alone, more than 20,000 invasive animals were responsibly removed to help protect our crops, our ecosystems, and the livelihoods of rural communities. Stick around as we break down the latest innovations in wildlife management, tackle tough questions. Across several urban areas, rival gangs of macaques are making headlines, and not in a good way. These bold invaders aren't just stealing food, they're clashing with locals and even launching attacks on unsuspecting pedestrians. Their rise traces back to the 1970s, when massive deforestation forced wildlife into closer contact with humans. That disruption sparked a macaque population explosion that's been rattling city life and draining local resources ever since. Now, communities on the front lines, especially those near urban forests, are stepping up. They're launching focused wildlife management efforts to protect residents, safeguard agriculture, and restore a healthier balance between nature and the neighborhoods it's creeping into. It's not just about keeping monkeys out of trash bins, it's about preserving harmony between people and the wild world around them. To manage the surge of invasive monkeys, experienced wildlife trackers have turned to stealth and strategy. They bait the landscape with irresistible treats, ripe bananas, crisp apples, carefully positioned to draw the animals in. Then, hidden in camouflage blinds that blend into the terrain, they wait silently. When the troops approach, hunters use quiet weapons like bows and arrows, avoiding loud noises that might startle the group or escalate chaos. This low-impact method isn't just about efficiency, it's about respect. Every step is designed to minimize stress on the animals while protecting the balance of local ecosystems. Still, even with skill and precision, the job is no walk in the park. A typical hunter may only capture 2 or 3 monkeys a day, while the most seasoned can manage 5 or 6. These aren't small creatures either. Adult macaques can grow nearly 3 feet tall and weigh up to 50 pounds. Tracking and capturing them takes serious strength, patience, and a deep commitment to humane wildlife management. Deep in the forests, skilled marksmen take a calculated approach to managing invasive monkey populations. Armed with bolt-action rifles, most commonly chambered in .223 or .243, they rely on patience, precision, and a deep understanding of animal behavior. From hidden vantage points, they scan the canopy, listening closely for the distinct calls of monkey troops before taking aim. Shooting from a controlled distance of 100 to 200 yards, they work to limit their impact on the surrounding environment. But it's not just about marksmanship, it's about ethics. These hunters follow strict guidelines to ensure humane outcomes, aiming for vital zones like the head or neck for a swift, clean kill. They target only fully mature monkeys, carefully avoiding pregnant females and younger animals to support ecological balance and biodiversity. It's a method rooted in both discipline and respect, one that blends precision with a long-term vision for the health of our forests. This careful, disciplined strategy is more than just population control. It's a commitment to animal welfare and responsible land stewardship. By blending modern techniques with deep respect for nature, hunters play a key role in preserving the balance of ecosystems that future generations depend on. That's why ethical hunting practices matter more than ever. It's not just about removing a threat, it's about doing so with care, integrity, and a long-term commitment to conservation. Responsible hunters and wildlife managers are stepping up as stewards of the land, using skill and restraint to protect our communities, our ecosystems, and the delicate balance that holds it all together. If you're passionate about preserving wild spaces and learning how modern conservation works in the real world, don't miss what's coming next. Hit subscribe, stay tuned, and join us in the next episode as we uncover more powerful stories from the front lines of invasive species control. This video is for educational and awareness purposes. All scenes follow local laws and ethical hunting guidelines. Hey Hey folks, welcome to Northwoods Pursuit, where we track the unexpected wild stories unfolding in today's America. Believe it or not, one of the most surprising threats creeping into our cities isn't a coyote or a black bear, it's baboons. That's right. In 2024, the USDA reported over 1,000 incidents of these clever primates breaking into homes in search of food. What used to be an odd sighting is now a growing crisis. Are our traditional wildlife control methods enough? Or are we overdue for something smarter, tougher, and more adaptive? Today, we're diving into the heart of the issue, exploring how communities are standing up, fighting back, and finding new ways to reclaim their peace of mind. Stick around and drop a comment below. We'd love to hear your take and might even feature it in our next episode. Things are getting wild, literally. What started a few years ago with just a dozen or so curious baboon break-ins has exploded into over 1,500 cases reported in 2024. And these aren't your average backyard critters. Baboons are smart, strong, and fearless, and they're tearing up suburban neighborhoods. Homes have been ransacked, cars destroyed, and the total damage? An unbelievable $175 billion annually. But it's not just the mess they leave behind. Their droppings carry bacteria that could spread disease to humans, turning this into a public health concern. In Broward County alone, more than 500 baboons are believed to be roaming free. With traps and fences failing, some communities are going to extreme lengths, yes, even arming themselves, just to protect their homes and families. In response to the escalating baboon crisis, the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, FWC, has tightened the reins with strict new regulations. Anyone hoping to hunt these invasive primates must now obtain a statewide license and stick to a designated hunting season running from January through March. But this is an open season. It's a carefully controlled operation. Each hunter is required to report any baboon taken within 7 days. No excuses. Miss that window, and you could face serious consequences, including a 5-year suspension from all hunting activities in Florida. On top of that, participants are now required to complete a certified firearms safety course, ensuring every hunter knows how to handle their weapon with care, accuracy, and accountability before heading into the field. As the baboon population surged, Florida's hunters had to adapt fast, bringing smarter strategies and more advanced gear into play. Success hinges on precision, which means maintaining a safe yet effective range, typically between 100 and 150 feet, to minimize risk while ensuring clean, accurate shots. At the forefront of this effort is the Impact M3 air rifle, a cutting-edge tool praised for its speed, pinpoint accuracy, and reliability in close to mid-range scenarios. This powerful air rifle has proven to be a turning point in the fight, helping drive the baboon population down from over 5,000 to just around 1,000. But the benefits go beyond population control. These efforts are restoring balance to local ecosystems, shielding farmland from destruction, and protecting Florida's vital agricultural backbone. Controlling invasive species like baboons today isn't just about pulling the trigger. It's about thinking smarter, moving quieter, and working as a unit. Modern hunters are stepping up their game with high-tech camouflage that blends seamlessly into Florida's wild landscape, making it nearly impossible for these sharp-eyed primates to detect them. Bait traps, especially fruit-based lures, are strategically placed to draw baboons into more visible, controlled spaces where shots can be taken safely and cleanly. But the real game changer, teamwork. Hunters now operate in coordinated squads of 3 or more, using radios and hand signals to communicate, cover more ground, and keep everyone safe. It's no longer a solo pursuit. It's a carefully choreographed mission that's delivering real results. Technology is playing a critical role in turning the tide against Florida's baboon surge. Today's hunters rely on precision optics, scopes with adjustable zoom, tilt, and even thermal features to lock onto targets in dense brush or under unpredictable weather. But it's not just about the gear, it's about how it's used. Strict regulations are in place to ban nighttime hunting, helping protect other species and reduce the risk to nearby communities. This isn't about wiping baboons off the map, it's about restoring balance. Once the population is under control, the goal is to scale back hunting operations and let the ecosystem recover naturally. At the same time, wildlife officials are taking steps to make sure baboons don't fall victim to other invasive predators, keeping Florida's fragile environment in check for the long haul. Managing invasive species isn't just a numbers game. It opens up a bigger conversation about ethics, responsibility, and where we draw the line when it comes to controlling wildlife. Are we doing enough? Are we going too far? That's where your voice matters. We'd love to hear what you think about the moral side of these efforts. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're into real, unfiltered stories from the front lines of wildlife management, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Just a quick note, everything shown in this video follows local laws and ethical hunting standards. Our goal is to inform, not sensationalize, because awareness is the first step toward real solutions.